What is going on? I'm Deadmot. We are back on the dev build, and even though that bouncing green arrow is trying to draw us into season 76, we can't go there. Where we can go is to show you this is the dev build. Code Zmod does not work because this is the dev build. That's why we've got 1,000,000 diamonds and we're level 84 and all the rest of the things. Now, I am only level 84 because I downgraded from level 80 to try to figure out how much XP that Proto Troop Workshop gives for level 1. By the way, I think it's 8. Anyways, this currently has troops in the dev build. It does not on the main base. Hopefully, these will be fixed by the time Mega Crab comes around. And speaking of Mega Crab, you only have to unlock one shadow, and there it is, right about there. And you can see that Troop Life Leech 25% is enabled on stage 1. You guys know how that part works, but where things get interesting is if we can start to load some of these. So in my sneak peek, I totally did not see this button that says instant on the right hand side. So you can instantly throw into your storage 16 of those heavy choppa tanks. I don't know if these proto troops are the ones that you'll get or where that's going to be. But do keep upgrading your Proto Troop Workshop as you wait for the Mega Crab to actually launch, because otherwise you're only going to have this first slot up in here, which, by the way, is probably Clone Rifleman on the live build, because those are level 25, whereas everything else is level 21. Also, I don't know if that's a bug or not, but regardless, get this thing upgraded because you're going to want to use Rainmakers with heavy choppas, with critter cannons, all on the same gosh darned attack, assuming that that's the cycle of what we get. I have no idea what's actually coming. So do keep that thing upgrading. You want to be able to do this. And now what we are going to do is go into the Proto tab, and we are going to add all of these things because they're in the dev build. Don't really care for that cryo bombardier, but heavy choppas with critter cannons, come on, that is pretty darn rad. And by the way, these camo tickets that have been talked about in the sneak peek, does that mean that we'll finally be able to have cheaper skins for things like critter cannons? I mean, they're here permanently now. You would think that I wouldn't necessarily want that to be the focus of a boom pass, but I definitely wouldn't mind having those in play for the skin action. Anyways, and then by the way, also on my sneak peek previously, people asked if there were troop skins, and yes, you can buy troop skins with the camo tickets. As you can see right about there, the Legacy Scorcher would be for sale if that was something you were interested in. Anyways, we've strayed too far. Sneak peek, Mega Crab. Now, realistically, there's some things we're going to have to relearn. Like, you're not going to want to use Rainmakers with critter cannons because the Rainmakers are going to kill your critters. Also, on the dev build, notice that I have no statues deployed. You're probably going to want to deploy those. Lots and lots of red with a couple purple, and we are going to do none of that because we don't care. We just want to absolutely crush stage 1. Oh, look at that. I have been asking for grapplers on stage 100 plus on the Mega Crab for a long time. They are now on stage 1. Grapplers are going to absolutely change the game when it comes to the Mega Crab. Now, don't go Zmot, you asked for this. I was very clear. I wanted grapplers after Legendary. Grapplers on the Mega Crab are going to drastically change how people attack the Mega Crab. It's going to be a huge deal. So for lower level players, do use Clone Riflemen. Obviously, I don't have them currently. Go away. No more of this crap. I don't have them as an option in my storage or in my production, but I think they're going to be there in the live game. But again, I just don't know. We'll do one more attack at a low level stage, and grapplers aplenty. That is going to be a drastic change to the Mega Crab. I can't even stress how much of a change that is, because look at that. All of a sudden, our grappler is pulling all of our stuff. Our Rainmakers are... It's going to pull heavies. It's going to pull tanks. This is going to make the Mega Crab actually interesting. It's going to mean that people are not going to be able to get to stage 7,000 anymore, potentially. That is a big, big, big deal. And as we get into stage 11, that troop Life Leech does go up to 50%. I have enabled the sabotage engraving on the offensive side. It doesn't show up in the battle details though, unfortunately. So I would like to see what our engraving's doing on that screen, and I know a bunch of you have turned it off. And now you're going to see me doing crappy hits because we don't have any statues, and it's amazing how much statues make a difference on crab. So yes, the grapplers are going to be grabbing our stuff, and it's going to look super tragic and bad, but realistically most of that is because I don't have any statues deployed. And reminder, I have deployed 4 boats of heavy choppas on stage 11. That is a very bad idea, because if you remember from the sneak peek how these things work, they are now gone. Done. We have wasted 8 heavy choppas. They will never come back. And out of our total that we have, gosh, go away. I hate the dev build for this. Notice that we have no more heavy choppas we can load. We have met all of our quota, so we're going to have to wait 3 hours and 46 minutes to add more proto troops. And we might get different ones, we might get less good ones. Do load up your storage. I can't stress that enough, because you really do want to get all of this stuff going. Also, it just means that using proto troops means that you now have to go back and add troops manually, even though, and that's one thing that kind of annoys me, we've got enough heavy choppas in our storage, but we can't click that reinforce button. I'm guessing because they don't want you to use them all up and then be upset that you wasted them or something like that. But just like when you beat Dr. T and you don't have enough gold to refresh your troops, you need to use those evil coins and you have to go in the shop to get gold. A little bit frustrating, and you definitely have a little bit of a learning curve. So I didn't even look at how much Life Leech we're getting. I jumped right in, and I forgot completely what the whole purpose of why we were here. So that is definitely on me. But you can see here, grapplers are not on every stage. I was a little bit concerned at the beginning that we were going to be getting nothing but grapplers. And a reminder, these heavy choppas have very low health because they're going to be level 1. You have to upgrade these things from the armory. So yes, we are getting absolutely crushed because we've got level 1 heavy choppas. They will be dropping heavies that match, but just not ideal. So I know a bunch of you are going to be super duper excited about getting those proto troops in there, but just remember, you need to go in your armory and you have to upgrade these things. And notice here, we've got something upgrading over here, a Scorcher upgrading. If we go in and try and upgrade, like say the Rainmakers, we click on that, you can't do it. Rainmakers, both tabs are in the same armory, so sadly you can't upgrade a proto troop while you're upgrading a regular troop. And I know it looks like everything in my armory is maxed, but that's because dev build. We're going to finish that Scorcher, and now if we go back in, you see that we can't upgrade Rainmakers at the same time as we upgrade heavy choppas. You have to wait or spend diamonds. Standard armory stuff, but not covered in my sneak peek. So we will get back in here. Obvious stuff, 75%. And then, of course, up to 100% at stage 31. And look at stage 31. This is going to be interesting. 4 grapplers there, 2 more there, 1 more back there, and 2 more over there. So those standard attacks that you have known to love and just spam are not going to work on this crab. So it's going to be super interesting. Hopefully that means the return of some squishy troops, whether that means like clone rifles with laser rangers or something like that. But overall, this has redefined Mega Crab. Yes, it's going to mean it's harder, and I think that's generally a good idea for the long term of the game because it actually makes it a challenge all of a sudden. I just wish they would have waited a little bit later to add the grapplers to the stages. And that seems like a bigger jump. We went to stage 41 and suddenly we're at 150%. So I'm not sure what that's telling us, but we'll keep going and then we'll do an attack later on once we get a little bit higher up. Stage 51, of course, with 200%. pretty darn awesome. And I don't think I can show you beyond stage 60. I can never remember if I'm allowed to show you stage 60 or 70. So we'll do stage 60 just to be on the safe side. Okay, we got 13 boosted statues. Reminder, with Life Leech, it is all about damage. The more damage you do, the more health you leech. But there's a big asterisk. If your damage is not done quickly enough, your troops will die because they will lose their health. So we've got a decent balance of health and damage. We have a bunch of squishy troops loaded because of grapplers, and then we are going to jump in and do a crab attack. So with 200% Life Leech, which I think should also be in that battle details pane, I think it's a battle detail, is it not? We are going to attack stage 60, which has 6 grapplers plus other stuff. No critter launchers, which is both good and unfortunate. Again, I would love to see crab get harder at stage 100. At stage 60, when people are fighting to get that diamond trophy, not as keen. But anyways, let's get going. We are going to throw a barrage to get rid of a bunch of the mines. We're going to throw one of those, 1, 2, 3, and then all of these guys in behind. We're going to get just shocks every which way, and then second wind. Let's just see how well these troops do at life leeching. Spoiler alert, I don't think they're going to do terribly well. I do have the sabotage engraving enabled. You probably don't want to use the leech engraving because, let's be honest, we already have an engraving, or we already have life leech happening, and our troops are doing a halfway decent job of staying alive. But with doom cannons and rocket launchers and all of these mines, it's gonna be tough sledding if you were just to use these style of troops. But as you can see here, we're still making progress, and that just shows you how important trophies, how important statues are to the Mega Crab. We almost lost at a super low level stage. We added a bunch of statues, and suddenly everything is coming up Millhouse. So very much about the trophies, statues. I can't even say the words properly, but just know that statues are so vital to Mega Crab, it's ridiculous. Every single Mega Crab, I get a post from someone who says, how do the max level players get as far as they do? This is how. They plan their engravings, they plan their attacks, and they plan their trophies. Gosh, statues. Sorry, this is just a constant problem with me, but look how much we cleared with some simple squishy troops. So with better troops, would have been able to do, you guessed it, better. Now, realistically, that was not the right troop combo for this one, because if we have a look here, on this backside, those grapplers don't reach the left-hand side of the core, so we could have just walked in on that left-hand side of the core, regardless of the troops. You still can use your mechs, you still can use your Scorchers and all the rest. You just need to plan for when you get towards that core, and you probably don't want to just bark these things down, but you could throw a shock right in the middle of them and shock all 8 of them. So not really a big deal there, but definitely do need to be concerned with where those grapplers are, because that is going to change the game more than I can't stress that enough. Anyways, we have beat stage 60, and now we can show you what the boosts are for the rest. 250%. And if we jump ahead to stage 75 for a random number, sure enough, 250% life leech all the way through. Dev build Skull has got me beat. We are beating Ku and Nuno and TT, but that is all of the things. Dev build, life leech, Mega Crab, engravings, and such annoying intros and demos. Every single time I open this screen, it comes up. It just wants you to click on season 76 so badly. Also, do know down there in that bottom corner, there is going to be a sneak peek soon for the Boom Pass, and those camo tickets promise to be somewhere in there, I have to assume. Anyways, that is all for me. Hopefully I've covered all the things you need to worry about. As I mentioned in my video earlier yesterday. If you want to stick with offensive, do not upgrade your engraver to level 2 because that is just going to make it harder to get offensive boosts. Do consider, if you really want to get crazy, throw that leech engraving on top of the leech and you'll end up with, I don't know if that'll actually stack or if that will do different math, but it'll be impossible to test. So best of luck to you. I am Zedmont. Boom Beach Mega Crab just got interesting, so let me know what you think. Again, I said grapplers, but I said at stage 70 plus or 100 plus, so obviously they had their own ideas. I'm Zedmont. Thanks for coming in. Peace.